Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Dystopian Simulation Radio. My name's Chris. I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Linz.
Another of your hosts.
Yes.
We still haven't got this intro bit down, and it's been like nearly 100 episodes now.
Well, it's because every time you just start changing what you say. I'm Chris. I'm Linz. No, skip that. Let's just say some weird shit every time.
It's my trademark.
True.
Weird shit. How are you doing, Lindsay?
I am very tired today, but I'm trying to keep up the morale for the episode. Been doing a lot of painting and a lot of planting. How about you, Chris?
Redoing the house?
No, painting is in art painting.
So last time you were painting tiny people in large scale. What have you been painting this week?
I've just been practicing techniques, but I also did a painting of the famous Loch Ness picture, Chris.
Oh,
which I've not yet revealed.
Patrons coming your way soon.
Maybe a Patreon can have it at this point, to be honest.
Maybe we should run a competition.
Definitely, I'm very happy to give it away.
You can win Lindsay's original artwork of the Loch Ness monster.
Yeah, why not? It's the picture.
The sturgeon's photograph.
Yep, exactly. The sturgeon.
Nicholas
Sturgeons
Sturgeon
have somehow learned how to use cameras. That's worse than gibbons last week. Jesus Christ. The sturgeon's picture. Speaking of gibbons,
we do need to thank the Patreon. So
yes,
let's segue straight into that. So, of course, any images that you will find associated with this episode, you can find over on our Instagram, which is
d.s.radio.
And if you're feeling especially generous, you can go over and join our Patreon
at patreon.com/dystopian simulation radio.
And as always, we have to say a huge thank you to Tony Taylor, Ethan Coughlin, Michael Cunliffe, A Hawk, Chris Lebowski, Beatrice, Ordained Sinister Minister, Graves, Riff Cult, Cropley Crab, Cash Brodius, Creepy Paper, Jamie Sook, Lindsay Keller, Mike Wright, Kelsey Carruthers, Linz Gibson, or Gibbon. It's up for debate, apparently. I'm so sorry, Linz. Drake Halvig, Michael M., Wesley Akers, Riaz K., The Toxic Adventure, Pip, and last but not least, Philip Hoffman.
Woohoo!
So thank you all so much. We say this every time, but we really do appreciate the support. But hey, Linz, guess what?
Yes. Oh, guess what? Should I really guess?
Go on then, guess. See how far away you are.
You have been investigating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've got nothing.
Well,
Tell me.
This is unusual. Today, I've been investigating one of the big hitters in the cryptid world that we've not yet covered, which is a bit unusual for how long we've been doing this, which is coming up on 4 years now? 3.5 years?
Oh my God, has it?
Something like that. Yeah.
God damn.
So today we're heading over to the east coast of the United States of America, to New Jersey, home of the Sopranos, the Misfits, and a certain ice hockey team.
You know what? I was keeping it for a rainy day. I started watching The Sopranos 2 days ago.
Oh!
It was time. And I know everyone always tells me like it's right up my street. Mm-hmm. And I've seen like 90% of every mafia movie ever. But I have not seen The Sopranos, and I started episode 1, and so far, really, really liking it.
Like, just I'm not going to segue too much into Sopranos because then it will just become an entire podcast about that. Mm-hmm. But it's honestly one of the greatest things ever created. It is that good. I'm doing a rewatch at the moment. It's been a few years.
Yes.
I'm halfway through season 5. Oh no, I think I'm at the beginning of season 6. I had a little break and need to get back into it again. But man, it's just so good. What do you do? What do you say? It's fucking brilliant.
And lucky me, season 1, episode 1, never seen it. So I've got months of joy ahead of me with The Sopranos.
But you've seen the first episode, right?
Yes.
So you've got the base foundation. You got Tony,
Ducks in the pond.
ducks in the pond.
Yep.
Perhaps they're not anymore. Breaking down. You've got the family who are your model family, but obviously they're not because they're in that crime syndicate. And then you've got the supporting cast of characters, including probably most prominently in the first series, Tony's mother, who is just a very special human being.
Legend.
Tony! Your mother.
Perfect,
Anyway,
Chris.
let's leave that.
Okay, so
to
what
there.
else could be in Jersey? I think I might know what it could be because we've been doing this a long time.
Well, I want to start this story with ice hockey.
Okay.
Okay, so the Colorado Rockies were in dire straits at the turn of the 1980s. They were a bottom feeder in the NHL. They were having no success. And in 1982, the team was up for sale, which is something that happens in American sports, not so much here.
Of course it does.
Well, you can buy a team here, but you can't relocate it.
Okay.
So that's the difference. Somebody purchased it. Like in this case, it was a New Jersey businessman, Dr. John McMullen, who then promptly relocated the team from Colorado to New Jersey. Now, a team called the Rockies in New Jersey just made no sense at all. So a competition was held for fan submissions for a new nickname for the team. Suggestions included the Americans, the Blades, the Colonials, the Lightning, the Meadowlarks, the Meadowlanders, the Coastals, the Generals, the Gulls, the Jaguars, and the Patriots. And I think you'll agree that all of those names suck donkey balls.
Yeah, I mean, the Americans. That is hilarious and lazy. And the gulls, like, is anyone scared of... I mean, sometimes gulls can be really scary.
I mean, all of these teams, with the exception of the kind of the specific ones like the Meadowlarks and the Meadowlanders, there are all teams out there, like lower leagues teams. There's loads of Blades. There's the Gulls that was over in San Francisco, I think.
No. Oh, but that makes sense in San Francisco.
The Jaguars are a American sports team, American football team, excuse me. The Lightning is an NHL team. So these are all kind of like very stock names.
The Lightning is good.
It is, but it works with the Tampa Bay Lightning, an area that's known for its thunderstorms. New Jersey, not so much. But
Gabagools.
Yeah. You bring the gabagool.
The Gabagools. That would be a good...
Hey, Tony, you bring the cannoli?
But if you think of it in a Halloween sense, that would be a good name for our team.
The Gabagools.
Like Gabba Gabba Hey, like the Ramones and Ghouls. The
Gabagools? A Sopranos-inspired Ramones
Misfits
band, the Gabba Gabba Ghouls. Yes.
That is so good. Like, we must copyright that right now and make merchandise of all kinds.
You're listening. Stop. No,
Stop
that's ours. That's my $1 million idea.
Get your hands off that.
Yeah. Fortunately, there was one other name, though, that was suggested that was by far the winner. The New Jersey Devils. Named after the famous cryptid that supposedly inhabits the woods of New Jersey. Which in this case, we too will be creeping into the Pine Barrens of New Jersey to investigate today.
Ooh.
So, first things first, Linz, the origins of the New Jersey Devil are murky to say the least. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. There's not a whole lot of credible evidence and supposed incidents that originated to substantiate. There's a lot of legend and where do things originate from and so
it's
on.
It's no Fresno Nightcrawler.
No, we don't have video footage.
Okay, well, I kind of like that in a way too. You know, he's that slick.
But I'm a little bit biased because I am a big fan of the New Jersey Devils hockey team itself. So to me, the Jersey Devil is kind of synonymous. Like everyone knows the Jersey Devil, right? But Linz, before we dive into this tale, tell me what you know about the Jersey Devil. Have you heard of it? I'll
be honest, I've heard of it, but I've never really read that much. I kind of know what it looks like. It's sort of like griffin-y, like dragon-y. It's some sort of medieval looking creation, but that is pretty much all I know. I know where it's from, obviously, it's in the name, but it's just like a dragony looking
Is it?
thing that I imagine people spotted at some point in time. That's all I've got.
Do you think it's like or related to the Tasmanian devil?
No, but they're so cute.
Come to Tasmania, come to Tasmania. I mean you.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh, what were the lyrics to that? That was so good.
That's the only bit
Didgeridingo and Winkledy Wolf or something. Oh, that
90s
song was so
cartoons.
good.
You
Yeah.
cannot beat them.
And there was a game as well, Sega Mega Drive game, or like, what is it
Yeah.
called? Genesis game. That was
No,
really good.
I'll die in my cold hard grave before I call it a Genesis.
Genesis. Yeah, but we call it Mega Drive. And there
Yeah.
was also Tazos, the crisps.
Yes.
Good
There
times.
was like a little mini sort of like Taz sort of
Oh, there was a craze. Like, do you know how
boom,
many
wasn't there?
people, how many boomers where we come from have tattoos of Taz in a Newcastle shirt?
Yeah.
And Tweety Pie.
That's such a weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he was iconic. But anyway, it's not about him. It's about
Well,
another devil.
the different devil, so the Jersey Devil. So the first thing that we need to actually establish is that it's not really called the Jersey Devil.
Huh?
Not originally, anyway. It was later given that name, but it was originally called the Leeds Devil.
Is there a Leeds in America? I'm assuming that every place in the UK, there's a corresponding place in America with the same name.
I mean, broadly, yes. I mean, there's a Durham or a Durham in Carolina, I believe, and a million other New York, New Jersey itself. They're all names. So there probably is a Leeds somewhere, but in this particular case, that's actually it's not to do necessarily with a place, although there is a Leeds Creek area, which is one of the proposed names of why it came about. But
Okay.
it's not because it came from England either. So it wasn't first seen north of Sheffield and was fond of Yorkshire pudding and then migrated over to America.
Steel City cryptids.
Yeah. Although who could blame the beast if it was?
Yeah.
No, it was called the Leeds Devil because it was allegedly birthed by a woman with the surname Leeds. You see,
What?
it was a dark and stormy night. Excuse me, I said it was a dark and stormy night.
Oh.
Much better, thank you. Now, Mother Leeds and her husband didn't have Disney Plus, so they couldn't binge Andor. So there was only one kind of entertainment in those days, the squeaky mattress kind. And
Is that what you call it?
Mother Leeds found herself pregnant for the 13th time and, understandably, totally wasn't here for it.
Unlucky 13.
And on the dark and stormy night, thank you, at her wit's end after hours of labour, Mother Leeds exclaimed, "Let the child be the devil!" Which might strike you as an odd thing to say, but as anyone who has experienced labour or has supported someone going through labour will tell you, it's really not that weird of a thing to say at that stage, to be honest. But
Probably
regardless,
not the best thing to say.
No.
Maybe, God damn it. Oh, I guess it's kind of the same thing.
Regardless, so according to the legend, an evil force that was hanging about nearby took this literally and turned the child into a foul, winged beast. Although, to be fair, the child was born normally and was baby-like in appearance, but very quickly after birth it morphed into a being with wings, claws, and a tail, which promptly flew out the window into the New Jersey woods, which are known as the Pine Barrens.
So in my world, an improvement.
Yeah. I mean, it was immediately, it could fend for itself, it could walk, it could fly.
And it was way cooler.
Yeah.
It's kind of very Khaleesi, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is a bit that informed. So there is this whole kind of like curse that, there's a woman who's not scorned necessarily, but she's declared this because she doesn't want the child, or she's had a mental break, or whatever. There's various different versions of what happened. I mean, in some versions of the story, it's told that Mother Leeds was actually a witch who bumped uglies with Beelzebub to create, quite literally, the spawn of Satan.
I like that version. It's kind of hot.
So, what did she birth? whether the result of a curse or some rumpy pumpy with the devil's favorite demon.
Don't say rumpy pumpy.
Rumpy pumpy. Whatever it was, a foul creature was born that night. Fortunately, Linz, we have drawings. So please, could you describe this classic picture? It's the one that you're all thinking of the Jersey Devil / Leeds Devil for me.
Okay, here we go. Yes, okay, this is kind of what I recall. So, he has, this is quite hard to describe actually from the head. I would say the head is sort of camel like. I don't know what, it looks like he has bear ears in this drawing, but I don't know what that is. He has a long neck.
Well, they're not covered.
He has he has a long neck. He's got dragon's wings. He has the front legs of, I'm going to say, like a horse or a goat. Yeah, he kind of looks goat-like from the waist down, but with very skinny legs and a very skinny forked tail.
Yes.
Yeah, but his head also gives like badger vibes with like an underbite. Anyway, it'll be on the Instagram d.s.radio.
Yes, well, we'll examine this in great detail. You can take a look for yourself.
And he's hooved. Hooved.
He's hooven, yes.
Hoofed.
He's hoffed.
He's hoffed.
Now, officially, the Jersey Devil is described as being a kangaroo-like creature with the face of a horse, the head of a dog, bat-like wings, horns, and a tail.
Okay, that picture does not live up to that description, I can tell you that much.
No. I mean, I think here it's more like a winged horse dog thing.
Yeah, I'm not seeing dog. I'm seeing goat, horse, winged, long-necked, maybe kangaroo with an underbite.
Whatever it is, it's terribly evil. We can agree on that.
It looks cuddly to me.
Yeah.
I could train it to do, like, dog tricks.
But that's the question, Linz. The question that I have to pose for you here. If you met this, is it scary or is it just a little bit silly?
I think it's cute. Like, there's nothing... The head is a bit, like, goofy looking. And then its legs and arms are so skinny that you just feel like it couldn't do you much damage. It was made to fly away, I would say. And its head is way heavier than the bottom of its body. So I think it would be kind of, like, I would be shocked, but I'd also be like, love you, come and live in my house, rent free.
It's not really drawn as a terrifying demon. It is a bit goofy. I think that's the word for it, is goofy. I'm sorry, everyone who lives in New Jersey. I'm a big fan of your state. Not a lot of people are, but I am. There's lots of great stuff from it. I named most of them already.
People aren't fans of New Jersey?
It's like the butt of like every like joke in America.
Yeah, I don't know why though. I mean, it seems quite entertaining to me.
It's proximity to New York, so it's just like it's like how we might joke about Sunderland, something like that. It's just the proximity of it. Yeah.
Okay, fine. You've made it make sense.
I think that's it. But personally, I mean, it's my top destination where I want to go. In all honesty, and
I want to go to New York, and you want to go to New Jersey. I'm seeing a future trip here, Chris.
Yeah, well, they're just across the Hudson from each other.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's pretty easy to get to. Although obviously, there's New Jersey is a large place, the actual state itself.
Too much gabagool in the way.
Yeah. So you can't actually do a Sopranos trip.
We will be doing that.
There was like a tour that took people around, but I don't think many of the locations are there anymore because it's been like what? That thing came out in 1999.
Come on, 2026.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
I just want to walk around and go, oh. So let's get into the New Jersey Devil. But before we do that, we need to talk more about the Leeds family. So we've talked about Mother Leeds, okay? This mythical sort of figure that they can kind of attribute to, but we're not really sure where it comes from. But there is definitely a Leeds family, and quite a prominent family in New Jersey history. So the myth likely originated with Daniel Leeds of the Leeds family. Daniel Leeds was a controversial figure in colonial New Jersey. Remember, New Jersey is on the East Coast, so it's one of the initial 13 colonies that there was. And it was heavily Quaker based. Not the oats, but the religion.
Yes, the oats.
Yeah. So Daniel Leeds was initially a Quaker, but he started publishing almanacs, which, if you will, are kind of, like early newspapers, if you will, containing astrological and occult symbols. For no
Wait,
power.
what?
Yeah. I don't know. That's sort of his thing.
Didn't think that was a Quaker thing to do.
Well, it isn't, which led to conflict with local Quakers who accused him of blasphemy and even labeled him as Satan's harbinger, which is, it's a pretty cool nickname to have.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah. On his way to the ring, Satan's harbinger.
What would his finishing move be?
Oh, it'd be like, we call like Dante's Inferno or something. Like,
It would be a tombstone.
Yeah. Straight to hell. So watch out, Linz, or that'll be your nickname soon.
I accept it.
Yep. Leeds later converted to Anglicanism, supported the British monarchy, and became an outspoken critic of the Quakers, which worsened his reputation in New Jersey, still a heavy Quaker area. Daniel's son, Titan Leeds, what a name.
Titan. There's a lot of dogs called Titan in 2025. It's having a comeback in some kind of a way.
Well, I'm presuming he was a giant baby and grew into, 7'2", 500 pounds.
I was a giant baby.
Let's pause the story. Do tell.
I was just a giant baby. I was like 2 weeks too late. And there's pictures of my brother holding me. And I'm gigantic. I had a full head of hair and everything and like black eyes. So maybe I was the Jersey Devil.
Yeah, maybe.
The Geordie Devil.
Geordie Devil. Well, Titan inherited the almanac business when his father passed away and became a rival of Benjamin Franklin.
What?
Yes. That Benjamin Franklin of the printed on the $100 bill fame, who also ran an almanac, and they were competing with each other. And Benjamin Franklin decided to mockingly predict Titan's death in his rival almanac, which is a bit weird because they were considered friends.
It's something we would do.
It is, but just wait and see. We'll get onto that. But Titan objected to this in print. Presumably, he objected by breaking a table in two with his gigantic fist. But Franklin claimed that Titan must have been writing from beyond the grave. A joke that painted the Leeds family as ghostly or monstrous figures in the superstitious community at the time. Benjamin Franklin wrote, "Having received much abuse from the ghost of Titan Leeds, who pretends to still be living, and to write almanacs in spite of me and my predictions, I cannot help but saying that though I take it patiently, I take it unkindly."
Oh my god, either they were really good friends or he knew what he was doing.
Well, as we know, Benjamin Franklin was all about the Benjamins. And thus, his almanac was a giant newspaper-like entity we can kind of compare it to at the time. He was, Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah, really. I was just about to say, was he Murdoch of the time?
Yeah, and he could print all that he wanted about his competitors in an attempt to snuff them out.
That is so mean.
Yeah. Titan repeatedly claimed at his publication that he was indeed still alive, and Benjamin repeatedly reprinted variations on this quote that I took from him. "It's plain to see that to everyone that reads Leeds almanacs, no man living would or could write such stuff."
That's such a burn, actually, because he's like, no regular person would ever print that. Yeah. Like, that's so bitchy.
Yeah, well, it really did descend into people just bitching about each other.
Do you think there's like a Benjamin Franklin like drag act with a really funny name?
Oh, what would it be? But I don't know. What would it be?
I can think of a one that involves British slang, but I'm not going to say it.
Have you ever thought what your drag name would be? Should you be a drag artist?
No, have you? I feel like you have
Yes,
because
I
you asked
have.
me. Okay, what would it be?
I would be Quiche's Lorraine. So the main advantage that Benjamin Franklin actually had was that he owned the publisher that printed the Leeds Family Almanac. So he was, in fact, printing his own competition and could have, at any point, if you think about it, just stopped printing them. But instead decided to be a bit catty and repeatedly publish that they were dead.
It's a regular Tom and Jerry, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, so they published this Leeds Family Almanac, which for some unknown reason was called Poor Richard. What a name for a paper, you
I'm
know?
guessing that adds a backstory because it's just so stupid.
Yeah. But the thing was that what Benjamin Franklin would do is he'd wait for Poor Richard to be sent off to the publishers. He would read it before it was published, and then he would insert retorts to that into his current edition. So he was always like one
Head of
step
the
ahead of
game,
them.
yeah.
So basically, he was looking at his opponent's cards and then making his move.
That's hilarious.
Because of things like this, it's universally agreed that Benjamin Franklin was, and I quote, a dick. And I'm sure no Americans will take any issue with what I'm saying there at all. Of course, he did later on go to be one of the founding fathers of the United States of America, a media mogul who drives a hard bargain and loves the art of a deal. In America, never. Now, by chance, the Leeds family crest featured a wyvern.
A wyvern?
A withen.
I'm guessing that's a combination of like 10 weird animals or something.
Not quite.
Oh, is it a griffin and something else?
Well, for the uninitiated, a wyvern, which is how I believe it's pronounced, wyvern, is a kind of dragon, but one that walks on two legs instead of four. It's actually not too dissimilar from a bipedal Jersey devil.
Oh.
So this also potentially plays into where this rumor came from and being associated with the Leeds family. So I'd like you to take a look at this family crest, please, Linz. It might be a withen. It might also be three pieces of roadkill.
The arms of the Miley?
Miley of Leeds.
Miley of Leeds. It's like the Georgian flag printed 3 times in a shield. Yeah, it's 3 little... I don't know what you'd call that. It sort of looks like a... What are those flying daddy long legs called?
Mosquitoes?
No, they're really big. Crane fly?
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. It's 3 of those, 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom, in a shield with a line cutting through the center, bisected, which is an awful word, but that's what it is. Do you think it looks like the Jersey Devil?
Not really. Not really.
Maybe from the front, if you saw it for a second and had to draw it.
If you look up an actual withen, I'll send you a picture of one now. An actual picture of well, I say actual. I'm not claiming that they exist, but an actual picture of one looks a little bit more like a Jersey Devil. But then again, most things would. So here you go. You can take a look at one of these, Lind.
Ooh, that's just a dragon to me.
So,
it's a dragon with sort of like a cobra's neck.
Yeah, they're like a subspecies of dragon, if you will. They are different. There'll be dragon nerds listening to this going, "You fucking dicks."
It's a bit serpentine in the neck region, and it's got raptor legs.
Yeah, the main difference is, I am reliably told, that dragons are typically depicted with 4 legs and 2 wings, while wyverns have 2 legs and 2 wings.
That's true, actually. You're right. Yeah, they rarely... Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's why it looks a bit serpentine, because its arms are up into its wings and it's walking like a man. Yeah, bipedal. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I mean, at first glance, you're like, it looks a bit weird, but I don't know why. But you're right. It's because he's not on 4 legs.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure we've got dragon geeks out there.
Now, I'm not sure on all of this, to be honest, in terms of the family crest. Is it just a happy coincidence? But it has been suggested that Benjamin Franklin declaring Titan Leeds to be dead repeatedly, and the family crest somehow morphed into the legend of the New Jersey Devil. It's hard to trace really what came first, the Jersey Devil or the egg. But regardless, the Leeds...
dragon egg.
Dragon eggs, crazy. But the Leeds family were soon said to have been given birth to a 13th cursed child. And that cursed child roamed the Pine Barrens, like Christopher and Paulie in the episode of Sopranos that you haven't yet seen, but look forward to that one, on the hunt for fresh meat.
I love this story. It's rare that we get a folklorish creature who has such a detailed backstory that involves real historical characters. So I'm really appreciating this right now.
Well, good, because anyway, we'll get into that in a second. Before we do,
okay.
What does the New Jersey Devil, the Jersey Devil, the Leeds Devil actually, do? How does it terrorize the local populace? And why is it so synonymous with the state that it decided to name the best hockey team of all time after the creature?
It's really good at blocking pucks.
Well, the New Jersey Devils used to be good at that. Not so much. Still, let's go Devils.
I hope we don't make enemies from that comment.
Please sign Quinn Hughes this off-season. Let's lift that cup again. Come on, baby. Woo!
Woohoo!
And the Rangers suck.
Oh, God. You've just divided a crowd, Chris.
New York Rangers fucking suck, man. Like,
but
even if I wasn't
be
a Devils...
a New York Ranger.
I want to live a life of danger. Yeah, the only reason it's a life of danger is because you get fucking checked into the boards by the Devils.
Chris, you have to stop.
Fuck 'em. Rangers suck.
Every negative message we get is about you saying terrible things about various topics centered in America, okay?
Right. Objectively.
And me being in love with you, apparently, because I like to laugh at your jokes.
Well, I am pretty fucking funny.
But so am I. Like, fuck them.
But objectively, right? The Rangers have not won a cup. I think it was like 1924 the last time they won a cup. Right? You can't call yourself a good team.
We're literally Geordies, Chris. Although recently we have been doing a lot better.
Yeah, and also I don't care about football.
That's it. You've killed
alienate the British now. I don't care about
now.
football or soccer, whatever you want to call it.
Ew!
It's a
don't
silly
call
game.
It that.
Now you're alienating the audience.
You're an alien, nating everywhere, ruining everything. Anyway,
back to the topic. Yeah, that's the thing about this podcast. The reviews, they always say they're really tight and on topic, and they never go on rambles. So what rambles?
Cute.
What does the Jersey Devil do? Not a whole lot, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of What did you call me? It's kind of comparable to the chupacabra. So check out our episode in the archive on that one. It tends to screech a lot in the forest and attack livestock.
It's an alien.
Not necessarily.
New theory.
It could
just
be.
Drop.
It could be. It could be a northern chupacabra potentially.
Yep.
Attacks on human are pretty rare, to be honest. I couldn't really find any documented counts, but certainly humans have reported seeing the creatures on multiple occasions and even shooting it in one case with a cannon, but to no effect.
Excuse me? What year was it shot with a cannon?
It was shot in the late 1700s, early 1800s, I do believe.
5 weeks ago in Tynemouth.
Yeah. Now, I said we were going to meet another historical figure. I didn't think we'd be talking about Benjamin Franklin in this today. Mm-hmm. I also didn't think we'd be discussing Napoleon Bonaparte.
Fine. Napoleon Bonaparte will do. Whatever.
Yeah. So actually we're talking about Napoleon's brother Joseph, which is a bit weird because wasn't his lover called Josephine?
Was she?
Yeah.
Was it his brother in a wig?
I think it probably was. That's the
Is that
only
a seagull?
explanation. Doxing myself, but I do live by the ocean.
Who doesn't, Chris? Who doesn't?
So, yes, we're talking about Napoleon's brother Joseph, who reportedly saw the creature in 1820, and it was one of the first major reported sightings. Now, why, I hear you asked, was Napoleon's brother in New Jersey? This sounds like a setup to a bad joke. Well, he had previously been the King of Spain, but had been deposed and was living in exile in America. Joseph chose New Jersey as it was close enough to the major ports for news to reach him quickly from France and Spain, but he could still have a large, stately manner that he was accustomed to and entertain throngs of American socialites who were eager to mix with European royalty, even the deposed kind.
Gotta be close to those Alamacs.
No, exactly. Now, from AmericanFolklore.net via the Wayback Machine,
Love it.
one snowy afternoon, the ex-king of Spain was hunting alone in the woods near his house when he spotted some strange tracks on the ground. They looked like the tracks of a two-footed donkey. Bonaparte noticed that one foot was slightly larger than the other. The tracks ended abruptly, as if the creature had flown away. He stared at the tracks for a long moment, trying to figure out what that strange animal might be. At that moment, Bonaparte heard a strange hissing noise. Turning, he found himself face to face with a large winged creature with horse-like heads and bird-like legs. Astonished and frightened, he froze and stared at the beast, forgetting that he was carrying a rifle. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then the creature hissed at him, beat its wings, and flew away. When he reported the incident to a friend later that day, Bonaparte was told that he had just seen the famous Jersey Devil, who had haunted the Pine Barrens ever since he was born to Mother Leeds one dark and stormy night in 1735. Bonaparte was impressed with the story of the Jersey Devil and thereafter kept a lookout for the fabulous creature whenever he went hunting. Once things settled down in Europe, Joseph Bonaparte returned to Europe and was reunited with his wife in Italy, where he never saw the New Jersey Devil again.
It sounds like he had a strange affair.
Yeah.
He never saw him again.
He never saw the Jersey Devil again, but they'll always have the Pine Barrens. So what do you make of this encounter, Linz? The ex-king of Spain out hunting alone in rural New Jersey, which is just a strange sentence in itself. Factor in the fact that he's Napoleon Bonaparte's brother, who spots the Jersey Devil, has a face-to-face encounter with him, gets hissed at, and then thinks he's fabulous.
The way that you described it, like he was sent there, right? And he
Mm-hmm.
probably wasn't that familiar. And I don't know where these things live or if anyone ever sort of caught one and just brought it to New York, New
What,
Jersey.
a Jersey Devil?
No, I was thinking the way you described it, it sounded kind of like a shoe bill.
A shoe bill?
Google it
Interesting.
very quickly. The way you described it, it just reminded me of a shoe bill. And I know that they live in sort of warmer climates,
I was going to
but
say, don't they live in Australia?
I think they might be in America too. I'm not great about like birds, but
Sorry, they live in tropical African regions.
yeah, but like in the 1800s and the 1700s, like maybe not the 1700s, but maybe a lot of animals were just like brought over as like
Mhm.
exotic kind of things to show off.
It's interesting that you go there. We'll come back to that.
Just the
But
way you
it's
described it. And now I'm looking at a picture of one. I'm like, holy shit. It sort of looks like the Jersey Devil.
it isn't the wildest theory, to be honest. It's just you'd need some way of bringing them over. How do they get over in 17?
Well, we have parrots in Newcastle. And in the 1700s, they did sort of travel
Yeah,
by
yeah.
boat and they brought loads of weird plants and animals and all kinds of stuff that wasn't native to their own countries back. So
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting theory to work with. I'm just going to search here. Wild shoe bills in America. Are there any? wood storks are the only species of storks that breed in North America, apparently.
Yeah, but it's
There
like
are.
there was tigers and pumas and jaguars in England, but they're not from there.
Mhm.
But it really
So,
looked like
there
the
were
way you
the,
described it, I was like,
so it looks like there were some. There were
I'm
some
telling
in,
you.
in America, but they were largely limited to zoos and so on. But that
Exactly,
doesn't
but
mean
you
that.
could it could escape. Like it's the first time I've ever thought about that, but the way you described it, like just with words, I was like, kind of sounds like, or like a cassowary, but more like a shoebill.
I mean, it's as good a theory as any, to be completely honest, Linz. And you
Oh,
might
why
just
not?
be breaking this story here. It was a shoe bill.
Yeah, imagine because they could look quite dark. They're blue, I think, but quite a dark blue.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously you wouldn't be expecting to see one. I mean, it's highly
Exactly.
unlikely. I mean, if there was one out there, I mean, if you think about it, when one of those parrots turns up, when a tropical bird does turn up in the UK, everyone's like, what the fuck?
But
Because you don't normally see
we
them.
have parrots in Newcastle. Do you not see them flying around like green parrots? They fly around in couples. They were introduced like ages ago and they've just like continued to live there.
I can't say I've ever seen them. I know that there was
Oh,
supposedly
look up
some,
more. Yeah. I've
supposedly
saw
some
like
at,
3 pairs recently.
uh,
Yeah.
interesting. I know I have never spotted a green bird
Eyes to
in the
the
wild.
skies, Chris. You know it. If you're not looking for UFOs, look for those Geordie parrots.
Why I? Why I?
Exactly. That's their mating call.
Around 20 years later, in 1840 and 1841, livestock began turning up dead, and bizarre screeches were reported in the woods. Once again, the Jersey Devil was blamed for the killings, and these type of reports continued off and on until the most famous spate of sightings in 1909, from January 16th to January 23rd, when hundreds of sightings were reported in newspapers across southern New Jersey and the Philadelphia area. Eyewitnesses reported the following, and I must credit the Chelsea News for this fantastic bit of research that I'm going to read to you here.
Oh, yes.
So this is a quote, a direct quote here. I awoke at about 2 o'clock in the morning, finding myself unable to sleep. I arose and wet my head with cold water as a cure for insomnia. As I got up, I heard an eerie and almost supernatural sound from the direction of the river. I looked out upon the Delaware, and I saw flying diagonally across what appeared to be a large crane, but which was emitting a glow like a firefly. Its head resembled that of a ram with curled horns, and its thick, long neck was thrust towards. Its long, thick neck was thrust forward in flight. It had long, thin wings and short legs, and front legs shorter than that of the hind. Again, it uttered its mournful and awful call, a combination of a squawk and a whistle, the beginning very high and piercing, and the ending very low and hoarse. They also reported that at 2:30 a.m. on Tuesday, January 19th, and I love this sentence, the New Jersey Devil apparently decided to dance a little jig on the roof of a shed owned by Nelson Evans, a Gloucestershire paperhanger. Again, Gloucestershire being a place in New Jersey. For 10 minutes, Evans and his wife watched as the thing danced around their yard before they chased it away. Evans said it was about 3 feet and a half high, with a head like a collie dog and a face like a horse. This is obviously how people spoke from Northern
Careful with
America.
the
Yeah,
accent,
yeah,
Chris. You
yeah,
don't
yeah.
want the
Just
messages.
for anybody out there, then,
We're
yep, yep.
joking.
It had a long neck, wings about 2 feet high, and back legs were those of a crane, and it had horse's hooves. It walked on its back legs and held up two short front legs with paws on them. It didn't use the front legs at all while we were watching. My wife and I, we were scared, I tell you. But I managed to open up a window and said, "Shoot!" And it turned around, barked at me, and then flew away. On January 20th, the creature went on what has been described by some as a rampage. The The Jersey Devil supposedly attacked a trolley car, which is like a tram, where it was witnessed by scores of people. It entered into the Black Hawk Social Club and Wrecked Shop, and then flew up to Trenton, New Jersey, where it startled several city councilmen. The trolley operators were issued with guns for the next several weeks, just in case the creature should reappear. God bless America. It was seen 13 more times the following day, and then the day after, it was seen by a woman hanging her laundry. When she saw the creature, she emitted a blood-curdling scream, which drew the attention of her husband, who then again chased the creature away with a broom, when it was promptly run over by a trolley and then stoned by a crowd.
What?
But just like the T-1000, it got back up and scrambled away. People were afraid, though, Linz. They were scared to leave their house should the Leeds Devil appear and dance a jig in front of them. Children were clutching their little Benjamin Franklin plush toys and hiding under the pillows. Schools were closed, and many people didn't turn up to work at the factories because of the terror that was caused by these attacks.
Is this true?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, okay.
The hysteria part of it is true.
Okay.
The rest of it, not necessarily, but we'll get into that. But of course, the attacks soon subsided, and life returned to normal in New Jersey. There were hunts for the creature, but nothing was found. The Philadelphia Zoo even offered $10,000 as a reward for the creature. And somebody, who we'll move on to in a moment, did try to claim the award by strapping some wings onto a kangaroo. Which begs the question, where the hell did they get a kangaroo?
Well, I'm telling you, Chris, these animals got around.
Well, I shall actually reveal where they got the kangaroo from in a moment. But alas, the actual Jersey Devil eluded capture on any of these efforts to find it. Every so often, though, even through to the present day, a dog will be killed or livestock will be attacked, or a pie will be stolen from a windowsill, and the New Jersey Devil gets the blame.
He likes pie?
I am serious. Yeah, apparently the creature is known for its pie-stealing antics, Linz. So don't be leaving any of those famous pies of yours to cool on a windowsill like a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
And he hovers along on the scent of the pie, like going up and down in waves.
That's it, exactly. That's how he hunts for his meat. So, back to the kangaroo. What the fuck is this story, man? It is said that the 1909 incident was a hoax set about by one Norman Jeffries, whom planted newspaper stories about the creature. But why? Jeffries was a publicist for a local museum that was down on its luck in Philly. The Arch Street Museum was facing closure, and the manager let Jeffries know that unless he came up with something big to draw crowds in, the museum would have to close its doors for the final time. So he jumped on the New Jersey Devil legend, somehow planted stories, and then purchased a kangaroo from a passing circus. With a friend's help, he glued the wings onto the kangaroo and also attached some claws onto poor Skippy, and then tried to pass it off as the creature itself, presumably as an attraction for the museum initially. But once the zoo offered the prize of $10,000, he tried to cash in on that. Either to help the museum or just to get rich quick. That is unsure. But it didn't work, however. Jeffries himself was a renowned hoaxer and later admitted to having caused the hoax himself. But this doesn't really explain the sheer amount of witnesses, from trolley passengers and drivers to literally New Jersey legislators and leaders who saw it, supposedly. It entered a bar, Linz. It danced a jig. Did any of this happen, or was it just mass hysteria based on the reports of a kangaroo? Or maybe a hornbill? Or maybe a crane?
You mean a shoebill?
A shoebill, a hornbill.
A hornbill is the little bird that Mr. Bean voiced in The Lion King.
Oh, Zazu.
Zazu, exactly.
Well, at the end of the day, Linz, we just don't know. We just don't know.
So there's no modern sightings of...
every so often there will be a sighting, but to be honest, none of them chalk up more to anything than I was walking late one night in the Pine Barrens and I heard an eerie noise or I saw a shadow in the trees. There's not really your kind of modern day Mothman, the Jersey Devil chased my car type of thing. But a lot of people who live out there will say things, that they believe there's something out there. The Pine Barrens themselves are a huge, huge expand of woodland in largely southern New Jersey, I do believe. Historically, they were very hard to get through. There were places where bandits might live, pirates. There were places where you had a high likelihood of going missing if you went into through natural or unnatural causes. So it's not unusual for these kind of legends to appear around places where people might disappear. We've seen it time and time again. I mean, you only have to look at the Bermuda Triangle for one of those. But people who live in the area still say that there's something out there. And the New Jersey Devil may be out there stealing your pies.
And if you live in New Jersey and you've had a pie stolen from your windowsill, get in touch.
Please let us know. The inhospitable environment, nobody quite knows what lurks out there. If you've seen something, we want to hear your story. But one thing is for sure. Marty Brodeur is the greatest hockey goaltender of all time and doesn't get the credit that he deserves. Despite holding all the damn records, Patrick Roy, you're nothing. And don't even get me started on you, Fleury. Anyway.
And there go the fans.
Everyone's going to be right. Everyone loves it. No, who's going to make fun of New Jersey? Nobody.
Anything for Chris's freedom of speech.
God bless America. So anyway, Linz, thoughts on the actual New Jersey Devil?
I think he is a shoebill or a concoction of wings glued onto a thing. Or a weird mutation with like a bed sheet on it from that lady who was hanging the laundry when she saw it. I don't know. I like this though. I really like the sort of origins of the folklore. It's really interesting. Like, it's not often that we have such a detailed backstory concocted by Benjamin Franklin.
No, this is the first time we've had a founding father weigh in on a cryptid.
Yeah, not a ghost, but a cryptid.
No. Yeah, well, I've just been looking up here other large birds that are in New Jersey or have been known to be seen. Of course, our friend the owl, that is responsible for just about every cryptid sighting there's ever been.
And a crane.
Yeah, it's just been around there. You've got turkeys, wild turkeys, which
I'm pretty sure people know what a turkey
they probably
is,
did know
especially
what a
the
turkey
Americans.
is. But what if it was like a mangy turkey? What if it was one that had, like
But they're too stocky,
rabies,
aren't they? Yeah, they're too stocky. Yeah. They're not long enough. They're not thin enough. They're not snatched enough to be the New Jersey Devil.
So what about if it was, because the bald eagles around there, but I'm assuming every American would know what one of those
they're pretty small compared to like a shoebill.
Think about this. Would an American at the time know what a Canadian goose looked like?
Yes. I'm going to say yes.
Fair enough. Also, of note, in the New Jersey area, there are great blue herons. And if you think about it, herons, they've got long, skinny legs. They've got awkward bodies. If they were to tuck their neck in, they might kind of resemble that head. And if you see it from a distance, you could kind of fill in the blanks. I think that a shoebill fits the bill perfectly, but geographically it's unlikely. It requires an incredible coincidence for that to happen. Whereas,
yeah, but I'm telling you, people imported all sorts of weird shit. They just liked it. They were like, I could make a buck out of this, and they would just bring the weirdest exotic creatures on their travels.
I mean, I love it, and I want that to be true. but
We
just
had lions. We can have a shoe bill, you know?
it's very
We
unlikely
had
to be a
lions.
shoe bill. But what is more likely is that a French ex-king of Spain didn't know what one of these blue herons looked like. That is more to the point. And then one of his mates is having him on and going, all right, mate. All right, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
you've
we
just
do
seen a
have
New Jersey
herons in
devil.
Europe, you know?
But do we have blue herons?
No, we have things that look pretty much the same.
Are they blue?
It
What
doesn't
about what
really
about a
matter. They are,
great a
well, they're
great
grey,
what about a great egret?
which is kind of blue.
Y'all ever seen a great egret?
What?
Have a look at this.
Oh, an egret.
Pretty fucking weird looking.
No, that's just sort of heron-esque. They would know they were
We've
looking at a
got
bird,
sandhill
Chris.
cranes as well,
Yeah,
which are
but
known for their loud bugling calls.
they're also the ones that people accuse of being the Mothman. I think a shoebill, honestly, like look up a video of one.
Oh,
You are going to be so freaked out.
what about
What
a brown pelican?
we know what pelicans are in Europe, Chris.
Do you know what brown ones are?
We've never seen brown before.
But I mean, I'm just looking down this list of potential things. They're all more likely than it being a shoe bill just geographically.
Right? Have you
How
seen a
it's like,
cassowary?
yeah,
I love
yeah,
those. I think shoebill and cassowary are like my favorites. I'm sure that's the same for a lot of people, but
yeah. Is that your favorite bird?
shoebill because and a cassowary, it's like a tie up between them both of them because they're just so like prehistoric looking
Yeah.
and they're so big and they're blue. Chris, favorite bird? It's a pigeon, isn't it? I love
No.
pigeons, honestly. They're so abandoned and they're so talented. And we just call them like rats with wings and ignore them. But like they did so much for us.
They did. They won us the war, the First World War.
Yeah. And they can do so much. They can like, yeah, they're just great. And we just don't treat them with the respect they deserve. Oh, we're getting so sad over birds.
I know.
Chris, favorite bird?
So it is going to be. It's going to be a tie, I think, between the Dixicle or the fluffy-backed tit babbler.
What was the first one?
The Dixicle.
The Dixicle. I'm going to have to Google that.
It's probably,
I found a medication.
it is here. It is. It just looks like a sparrow. It looks like a fabulous sparrow.
Aw, your drag bird.
Quiche's Lorraine. Right. Okay. Let's
Aw,
wrap
that's
this.
so cute. Is it like a canary? What is that?
It's like a kind of finch type of thing.
Aw.
But
Why is it that one?
It's just called a Dixicle.
You're so stupid. Anyways,
No, I don't know.
we
If I've
don't
got
know
a
what the
favorite
Jersey
bird.
Devil is.
No, we don't. We don't. But it's debatable if it ever existed. But
Excuse me?
or was it all just a complete hoax? But regardless, people keep seeing it around. But yeah, it's a. I am biased. It's the mascot in a way of my favorite hockey team. So it's always got a special place in my heart. But Linz, where do you rank this in kind of the in the cryptids that we have?
Do you know what? Like, I feel like it has more of a chance of existing than at least the Fresno Nightcrawlers and the Mothman. Because, I mean, it's just a creature that people don't recognize. It could be something existing that people just aren't familiar with. Am I saying it's a undiscovered creature?
Yes.
Maybe. Yes, maybe. Maybe I am. Or is it just something that is existing but somebody doesn't recognize in the region that they're from? Who knows? But I kind of hope this one exists because it doesn't really do anything mean. I don't think it's killed anybody, has it?
No,
It's just been spotted, so I feel like this is one that I want to exist. And if it did, then we are a step closer to finding dragons. So, yeah, I hope it is real. And I also hope there's like an undiscovered shoebill colony in New Jersey that has just like persisted despite the conditions.
Well, one
But
thing that I think we probably should very briefly touch upon is cast your mind back. Do you remember the X-Files episode in season 1 that featured the New Jersey Devil?
God, I'm not sure I do. I did watch it last year, but my PTSD wall is pretty solid.
Well, you probably wouldn't remember it because in that episode, it's basically just a caveman.
Oh my God, yes. And he has like a wife.
Yeah.
And the wife like has some kind of connection with Mulder or something.
Yeah.
Okay, what the fuck? That was the New Jersey Devil.
It was supposed to be the New Jersey Devil.
Explain.
I explain. I can't. I just can't.
So, like, right? Okay.
I just needed to mention. I needed an outlet to get that out.
So
somewhere.
that was the New Jersey Devil episode.
Yes.
What's that got to do with like Neanderthals?
Nothing. I can only presume that somebody went, right, we need to do an episode on, right, we've got ghosts, we've got aliens, we've got New Jersey Devil. You've got to do the Jersey Devil, right? Do you know anything about it? No? Do you want to go research it? Yeah. Oh, right, I've read into it, and
It was a mammal.
It was a horse-faced thing. That sounds like a lot of money. It never really attacked anybody. Should we just make it a Neanderthal? Yeah, that's good. Chris Carter, you're a genius.
But wait, like, wasn't there also an episode on the face on Mars that was
don't
also
get me
completely
started.
shit? That was crap too.
You're going to make me angry.
Like,
it is
what?
one of the there's most of the early episodes are absolute, home runs, but there are some when it swings and misses, misses, and breaks its own clavicle. It's that bad.
Honestly, though, this has been a really enjoyable episode.
Good. Thank you.
It really has. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've loved hearing about the Jersey Devil, and I know that people get angry when we say, like, oh, this cryptid is actually a bird, but I feel like that only stands when it's owls and cranes. In this case, like shoebill, maybe, but also wallaby with wings is an option, so you can't be that angry.
The thing is, this is open to all kinds of interpretation. It could be anything, could be nothing, could be everything,
could be the Jersey Devil.
Just project whatever you think it is, and it's there. Linz thinks it's a shoebill, which are obviously from Africa and not in New Jersey. There are people who think that
we had lions, Chris. We had lions.
Did we? I don't remember that.
Yeah, people had like tigers and lions in cages.
I just meant we didn't.
Oh, we personally didn't. Well,
No.
maybe you didn't. Peasant.
all right. Linz exotic.
Thank you. No, not thank you. I'm not the one that had a framed golden picture of Joe Exotic in my house, by the way. He was a criminal.
Would be your drag name. Linz Exotic and Keisha's Lorraine. And on that bombshell, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us for today's episode of Dystopian Simulation Radio. We'll be back next time where Linz is going to be regaling us with one of her research findings.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you for listening, everybody, and join us next time. Don't forget about us. Keep listening, please. That's an in joke. Okay. Bye.
Bye.